Hi guys, Ken here from backpackinglight.se, and today I'm going to show off the As Tucas Sestrals poncho quilt. It's very similar to the Sestrals blanket, but with the added function of making it a poncho. So when you're at camp and you don't want to bring an extra jacket, you can have this as your poncho in camp and so on. So this is a synthetic fill, and I believe we have the synthetic 100 at backpackinglight.se, and this gets you down to about 0 degrees Celsius, which I find is fairly accurate, as I've been down to around 0 degrees and haven't had too many complaints about it. Now what's different about the As Tucas quilts and blankets comparison to, say, a regular quilt from Enlightened Equipments or a sleeping bag, is that this has a lot more in common with the sleeping bag, as this is made to be so big that you can actually have it completely wrapped around you like a sleeping bag. And at the top, you'll see that you can't button it down or squeeze it around your neck. Instead, you use it like you'd use your regular blanket at home, and it just kind of falls around your body. And I was very skeptical about that design when I first bought this, but it's kind of grown on me, and I really like that flexibility of just being able to squeeze it, because they're made much larger than your regular quilts, so they are a little heavier than a quilt of comparison, temperature and so on, but it's much bigger. It wraps completely around the body and leaves a lot of space over, and it gives you, I mean, this is the large, and I can squeeze it up over my head, so it gives you a lot of room. And there's no zippers. Instead, it uses buttons, which is pretty unusual, but I find that it works just fine. And then so right now, I'll probably have to show this when I'm on the ground later, but right now this is the quilt form, and then I can go ahead and open it up. Now I've got myself a nice blanket, which is great for if you're looking for that one quilt that you can have pretty much year round. This is it. I actually use this year-round, except for in the summer or in the winter, and then I just use a down sleeping bag under, and then I throw this on top. And this just gives me a lot more flexibility. So I can open it up completely on a hot summer day, and when it really starts to get cold up in the mountain regions and so on, it starts blowing, you just button it down. And then the feature on this one, also a poncho, and then of course you just button it down, and then you've got yourself a nice little Marco's gonna get mad at me. I'm probably showing this off wrong, but it's alright. But something like this. Now I'm just doing it real quick to show. And there you have a nice little camp poncho. And there you have it, the As Tucas Sestrals poncho.